Today, we update the Acerglyn. Okay, so this was started back on January 30th, and an Acerglyn, if you're curious, is maple syrup and honey combined together, making a mead, okay? To be a mead, though, it has to have at least 50% be honey. So we did that. This also had some raisins in it. It had some kaffir lime leaves. Bad. We removed those pretty quickly. And we ended up adding more maple syrup at the end. When last we left this, it was at 0.998. We added 1 pound of maple syrup, bringing it to 1.028. Let's see how it did. I do the simple method, a turkey baster, a graduated cylinder, and a hydrometer for taking specific gravity readings. I will say right off the bat, this is nice and clear. The last time we looked at this was April 30th. Today is June 10th. So it's been about 5 to 6 weeks or so. Okay, so this is 1.028 still, which means it has not dropped in a 5 to 6 week period, which means this is now done. I am pretty happy about that because I remember last time it was pretty dry, so I was kind of hoping it didn't ferment anymore. That does bring us to the same ABV that we had before, which is 14.45%. Not too shabby. This is Lalvin 71B, has a 15% alcohol tolerance, and you know what? Those yeast can't read. This time they were off by 0.55%. It is all right. Just going to pour off a little sample tester here for us for later. And now we're going to rack this out of the fermenter and put it into a pitcher so that we can bottle this. If you're wondering why we do that, a lot of people ask this all the time. It's because there is a little bit of wispy sediment in the bottom here. Because we're doing this on camera and we're not going to be standing there watching the whole thing the whole time, I'd just rather play it a little bit safer than sorry. We can watch this and make sure nothing gets into that pitcher. But even if it did get into the pitcher, the little bit spread out over the whole gallon won't make a difference. But if we didn't and we sucked up some at the end, that last bottle would be kind of iffy. At least it would gross me out. So I don't like to do that. Anyhow, let's get the pitcher and get Wibble and get started. As we always do when racking, we put our source vessel on something higher. In this case, we're using Wibble, or the white bucket of levitation, and our destination a little bit lower. Take the auto...
so it's levitation, not elevation?
Yeah.
So you can get your L in there?
Yeah. Executive changes. What can I say? I just put the hose in the pitcher, put the auto siphon up there, give this a couple of pumps. A lot of people ask pretty often, are there other ways to do this? How can you get it? You can actually just pour it, okay? But you got to be careful because you can oxidize it at this point, which this is, close to 15%. You're not likely to cause vinegar, but you can add oxygen, which can still give off flavors over time too. So you got to be a little careful. A lot of kits come with just the racking cane portion, which is just this bent piece of tubing here. I'm not sure how you're supposed to use that without an auto siphon, unless you do the old gas trick where you suck some out. But I don't really want my saliva in this brew, so that's why I don't really like that method. I don't think it's quite as sanitary. There's probably a better way to do the racking and get the siphon started, but I just haven't found it yet. So if anybody has suggestions, I'm all ears. But just know that most of them will probably be thrown out because this just works. All right, so this is another reason why we like to start off brews in the 2-gallon bucket, because right to the bottom of this lip is 1 gallon. So by doing that, we ended up with exactly 1 gallon after 2 rackings. That's ideal. That is exactly the way we want to do this. All right, so what we want to do now is move this from pitcher to bottles. Really, really simple. If you've ever seen any of our bottling videos, we're going to do it exactly the same way. I'm going to be using Wibble as our elevation device. I will use the auto siphon again, and I'm going to use a bottling wand, which has the little springy thing on the end. And what that means is, as that hits the bottom of the bottle, it lets the liquid flow. Lift it up, liquid stops. Real simple. To use a bottling wand, super simple. You stick it in the end of your hose. I usually go about a 1/2 inch. Any more, and it's really hard to get back off later. Any less, and it could come undone when you least expect it. So what we want to do is just put this up on top of Wibble and stick the auto siphon in there. And we are reusing a whiskey bottle. This is a 1.75 liter bottle. And yes, I will need more than this bottle to completely finish this, but we're going to start with this one.
A quick note on reusing bottles. We've noticed that it's okay to use corked bottles, but we've found the ones that have a synthetic cork, like this one does, works better for reuse because they're easier to clean and they don't mold.
Yeah, the natural corks, we've had some mold issues. Could just be the way they've been stored. I don't really know, but makes me not want to use them anymore. So that's why we got some of those screw caps just recently. Solved the mold problem.
So if you reuse a bottle and you end up with a moldy cork, just throw it away.
Yeah, we don't even bother trying. Just get rid of it. That is not the kind of thing we want to mess with. Bottling is super simple when you have a bottling wand. All I'm going to do is let the liquid flow till it gets up into the neck and then stop it. Someone asked, I usually keep 2 bottles. Someone asked why I keep 2 bottles, because this stops. Well, it's just a convenience thing. If I have them right next to each other, I can pick it up, put it right in the next bottle. If I don't, I have to fumble around and this can drip a couple times. And I mean, sure, we have cloths to pick it all up, but why waste it at all? Just makes life a little bit easier. Okay. And as it starts going up into the neck, we want to pull it just before it gets too far, because the wand does take up a little bit of space, and something like about there. Then I just drop it into the next bottle. See? Nice and simple. Put a cork in it. These corks are really super tight. There we go. And on to the next bottle. So as you can see, we got a 1.75 liter, 2 750s, about 13 ounces out of a 16 ounce beer bottle style, and a little taster glass. Now, in the past, the Kaffir lime leaves have been the ruination of anything that they touched. I'll just say that. The smell is still here. I smell some maple syrup too. I will say it does not smell very appetizing. However, the flavor is actually not bad. It's got a little sweetness to it. I definitely taste maple syrup. I also taste the lime. It's there. I'm hoping it ages out. So probably going to put these away for about 3 to 5 years. Joking, maybe, not sure. It'll be a while because I want that to age and see if that Kaffir lime mellows at all. If it doesn't, I might just have to mix these with something, flavor them with something else just to get that flavor out. I have to admit, this is not something I like. We don't really like this one. I think Acerglyn on its own would have been great. Skip the lime leaves. So we've already decided those are never going in another brew again. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.